Good evening and welcome to the stream from my wife's basement where the Dewey Decimals are currently up 1-0 in the semifinals of 32-team bronze tournament number 636. It was a tough road to get here, 7 games against the Wildcats and then a good sweep against Scarlet, and then it came down to Game 7 again against the Silver Springs Acorns, where we were lucky enough to come back from a 4-0 deficit to win 7-6 to move on to the semifinals. The good thing we won Game 1, and we got our number 4 and 5 pitchers going for us after expending the whole team trying to win that Game 7. Sean Chacon and Randy Dobnat going the next 2 games, and so not sure how that's going to play out for us. We'll come back to them in a little bit. We're here tonight because we want to go over the top bronze tournament pitchers so far from what I've seen over the last week or so. And it's going to be a good one. So if you were here last night, you may remember my system for ranking these guys. It comes down to I needed to come up with a system to capture meaningful statistics, not the noise that you get in one single 2 games, because these guys are getting a lot of different numbers of games that they're playing in, so anywhere from 4 to 35, so I had to cut them out. So for pitchers, I'm only looking at pitchers in these tournaments that have at least 18 innings pitched, starting pitchers, and I'm only looking at relief pitchers who have at least 10 innings pitched in any given tournament. I then get them exported from the game into Excel. I run some calculations, and I'm going to be honest, guys, I'm a little embarrassed after redoing my calculations this morning, adding some stuff in. I think the names I gave you last night for the top position players were not very accurate, and unfortunately, there's nothing I can do to go back and fix that. However, we are going to rerun it and do it again tomorrow. Yeah, Cavicom, welcome to the stream. I'm giving you guys a lowdown on the pitchers, and we're going to come back to batters tomorrow. I think I got a little bit better grasp on what I'm looking for from these guys. So we're going to start with the relief pitchers, and then we'll move on to the starting pitchers. I'm going to give you the top 10 from what I've seen in these tournaments. So far, I've seen about 1,600 pitching performances and somewhere around 1,300 to 1,400 relief pitching performances based on the curricula that I've had to use. So what I'm looking at is, I'll bring up the handy dandy little gross spreadsheet for you here. This is what it comes out looking like. So I create a tournament value for these pitchers based off of what I'm seeing from them. I look at their top 20 performances, top 50, top 100, which is all I looked at for the batters yesterday. I added this top 25 performance, and then I had the dud performance yesterday, but I started looking more at how often the players are in the top 25% as opposed to the bottom 25%. And so, for instance, my number 1 ranked catcher last night was Chance Sisco, which turned out to be really bad because while he had a bunch of top 100 performances, and he had a decent showing in the top 25, he was just as, if not more likely to show up in the bottom 25 as well. Just a big dud performance. Not as many top 25% performances as I expected off of his top 50s. So I went back and reran those, came up with a different list. That'll be tomorrow, but for today we're going to the pitchers. Let's go ahead and just get right into it. We're going to start with the relievers. As you get to watch my little graphics, I'm working on making them better, so I apologize. They're not that good yet, but it's a little bit of a work in progress, and we'll see how it goes over the next couple weeks. Starting with number 10. So number 10, I've got Craig Stammen at number 10. So far, I've seen him in 27 appearances. Doesn't have a top 20 yet, but is showing twice in the top 50 for the relief pitchers, with 4 top 100s. 22.2% in the top 25% and 14.8 dud percentage. So what I'm looking at more now is his top 25 minus the dud percentage. So you're looking at a value of like 8% more in the top 25. Really good ratings across the board for Craig Stammen. You're looking at a mid-60s with an 80-something control. You got 3 pitches, which is great out of a bullpen arm, and always really useful. Guy who can mix it up for you. So I'm seeing pretty good things out of him so far. At number 9, we've got Alex Claudio, 2020 MLB Live card. Only 13 appearances, so not a lot of appearances for this guy yet, and just 1 top 50. But the key here is he's showing up in the top 25% a lot, and he hasn't had a bad performance yet. out of his 13 appearances. So just 2 in the top 100, but if you're looking for a guy who's going to be steady for you and give you good production every time he goes out, you're looking for a guy kind of like this. Not great stuff. He's not going to miss a lot of bats, may let up some home runs, but really good movement, really great control. And again, he's got 4 pitches, 2 mediocre pitchers and a pretty good sinker and a pretty good changeup. So coming out of your bullpen in a bronze tournament, that's going to be a really useful card for you. Pretty good at hold runners too, so maybe better able to keep those inherited runners from scoring for you. Moving on to number 8. We've got Kevin Ginkel, 2020 MLB live card. A little bit of a theme here on the relief pitchers so far. We're seeing a lot of live cards. Again, this guy only 12 appearances, so not a ton yet. I'll have more data in the next couple of days. Has shown up in the top 20, but more than a quarter of his appearances have put him in the top 100. And 50% of his appearances have him in the top 25%. So already 6 appearances in the top 25% with a pretty low dud percentage. This is a guy with incredible stuff. You're looking at a 101 rating on the stuff there with really good fastball, super curveball, great changeup. This is a guy that can get you out of innings if you need him. You can be a stopper. He can be a setup guy. Maybe not quite the control and the movement you want in a closer necessarily, but really awesome stuff here. And he's been putting up good stats throughout all these tournaments. Number 7, we got our first historical card, 2001 Snapshot Eddie Guardado with 20 appearances so far. He's got a top 20, one of the best 20 performances we've seen so far. 1 top 50, 4 of his 20 are in the top 100, which is a pretty good rate for considering how many relief pitchers we've had go through. 25% in the top 25% with only 20% in the dud percentage, a little bit higher dud percentage than I wanted. Otherwise, he probably would have gotten placed higher. I do like the ratings on the card. I think he's a card that you're going to see perform better as time goes on. He's probably going to move up the list. Good stuff, good movement, good control, though nothing like really, really earth-shattering like that Ginkel card with his stuff. But then he's got four pitches with a fastball, good curveball, mediocre slider, and an excellent changeup. Those of you who watched the Twins in the early 2000s remember that Eddie Guardado changeup, which is where after him, they had that great Johan Santana changeup as well. So the Twins know how to teach that pitch, or at least did 20 years ago, as I start showing my age. Getting up to number 6, we've got Ryan Stanek, 2020 MLB live card. So far with 12 appearances, 1 top 20, 2 top 50, and 2 top 100. Has shown up in the top 25%, 50% of the time, so 6 times that he's been out there, and with a 25% dud percentage. A little bit higher than that, than the cards you've seen before, just because I think he gives you a little bit of a higher edge. Maybe a little bit better top end than some of the cards you saw at 7 and 8. But he does have a pretty high dud percentage too. I didn't want to put him on here with that 25% dud percentage, but a 50% in the top 25. He's kind of hit or miss. Another guy with really good stuff, really, really awesome fastball. Pretty good slider, pretty good splitter too. Only 3 pitches, but 3 pitches out of the bullpen will get you by. Pretty decent movement, so he's got green ratings across the board, nothing low on yellow with for his ratings on his pitching. And you like that out of the bullpen. It's always nice to have a guy that doesn't have, that isn't going to walk a lot or isn't going to let up a lot of home runs, because usually out of the bullpen, especially these bronze guys, you'll see a guy with good stuff, but really low movement or really low control, whereas Stanek's pretty good across the board there and isn't likely to give up that big inning as often as some of those other guys. Moving up to number 5, we got another live card, Victor Arano, with 13 appearances so far. He's got 1 in the top 100, but we're seeing 38.5% of his appearances in the top 25%, with only a 7.7% dud percentage. Awesome stuff here. Only 2 pitches, but they're electric. He's got a fastball and a slider, both rated in the high 80s and mid 90s. And this is a card that you can get strikeouts with. This is a card that you can throw in at the start of an inning, and he can pitch an inning. I don't know that I'd let him pitch more than 1 inning with just 2 pitches. But he's a guy who will get outs for you throughout these tournaments from the start to the finish. At number 4, we've got 2020 MLB Live Chad Sabatka. This guy's seen a little bit more appearances in the last couple with 22. He's got 4 in the top 100, 2 of our top 20 performances so far over the first week or so of the bronze tournaments. 27.3% in the top 25%. The issue here is he's throwing a 31.8% dud percentage. Kind of a sketchy card a little bit. Another one of those guys that you can get really top end performance out of, but I don't know if you wanna risk getting that dud percentage. Would have rated higher if it wasn't for the few games. So we're looking at what's that, 6 really bad appearances out of him so far already. This is a guy with really electric stuff, really good fastball, another really good slider. It's a card that the ratings I feel like are a little bit better than what we're seeing out of his actual performance so far. So I really think this is a card that it's right about where this card should be, but it could go down if he continues to not perform as well as I would like him to. At number 3, we got a card that hasn't shown up very much. This is Jake Diekman, with 9 appearances, 1 in the top 20 and 2 in the top 100. He actually probably would have dropped if I had done my stuff later in the day today, but came into the day with a 44% top 25 percentage, 22% dud percentage, so only 2 appearances so far that have been really bad. Another guy with great stuff, really good movement though, so I like stuff and movement out of my bullpen. I can live with walks out of my pitchers. And then you got that sinker and that really awesome slider out of this card. He was doing awesome, and he's pitched well for me specifically. I don't have all of these cards yet. I wish I did, otherwise my teams might be performing a little bit better, but this Diekman card has been performing for me pretty admirably so far throughout the tournaments he's pitched for me in. Moving on to the top 2 relief pitchers for Out of the Park 21 Perfect Team Bronze Tournaments. At number 2, with 34 total appearances so far. Nothing in the top 20, but 4 performances in the top 50 and the top 100. A top 25 percentage of 23.5% and a dud percentage of only 11%. We have John Gallinaro, 1969 one-hit wonder. Showing 67 stuff, 66 movement, 85 control, good slider, good splitter. The ratings aren't quite as high as that the Jake Diekman card, but he's performing well. I've been really happy with his performance on my team specifically as well, but I've been seeing really good performances from him across these tournaments too. For whatever reason, this card's performing pretty well. It might be that control. The control mixed with the movement, I think, helps out a lot. It prevents those home runs, especially the 2- and 3-run home runs. You don't walk in and let up a home run, stuff like that. So lets up a run here and there for me, but hasn't given up a big inning that I can really remember. And has been a pretty solid card for my team. The number 1 bronze tournament relief pitcher that I've seen so far with 21 appearances. One of those is in the top 20, 3 in the top 50, and 6 top 100 performances so far. 57.1% of his performances have been in the top 25 with only a 14.3% dud rate is Live Yusmeiro Petit. This card has been studly in these tournaments. I'm seeing just crazy numbers, crazy ERA plus, crazy FIP, crazy strikeouts per 9. I'm seeing strikeouts per 9 above like 11 in some of these instances. I'm seeing good strikeouts to walks, doesn't walk anybody, and strikes guys out with that nasty changeup. So you got 65, 53, and 98 across his pitching ratings. And then you got pretty good fastball, cutter, curveball, and that changeup's just devastating to these bronze hitters. This has been a pretty awesome card, pretty easy to find too. So it's not like some of these cards that are difficult to get your hands on, like the Ozzie Smith that we saw yesterday. This is one that I had a few of, put some up, open them in the packs, and then they get put up on auction. And this one's selling on auction pretty well too. I think I got 115 for them today too. So if you don't want to keep them, you can sell them for more than a quick sell right now for sure. So that's our relief pitchers. I did a little bit differently on the starting pitchers. I looked at innings pitched per game started was a pretty important stat to me for the starting pitchers. And so we'll move on and see how they did. Coming in at number 10 for the starting pitchers is Doug Bird, 1981 snapshot. We see a little bit more of the historical cards in these starting pitchers. So far, Doug Bird has given us 25 appearances, not 51 in the top 50. It's just 1, but 44% top 25 percentage and just an 8.5 dud percentage. So especially, I think that reducing that dud percentage out of your starting pitchers is even more important than reducing it out of your relief pitchers. So you're going to see most of these guys. You're not going to see too many starting pitchers with a 20% dud percentage on the list, I don't think. Decent stuff. okay movement, really good control, and then a devastating changeup. Only 3 pitches out of him. Pretty good stamina. It's a card that's probably outperforming its ratings just a little bit right now. So we'll see if he stays on the list going forward. But for now, he comes in firmly at number 10. At number 9, we got 1983 rookie sensation Neil Heaton. This guy's got great ratings pretty much across all of his pitching ratings. Good stuff, but really good movement, really good control, good hold runners. He's got a good fastball and a good slider, though nothing really awesome. He doesn't have one really awesome pitch that he can lean on. So another card that maybe is outperforming its ratings a little bit right now. He does have a 20% dud percentage, but also has 3 top 50 appearances and 5 in the top 100, which is a good 10% of the time he goes out there. He's giving you a top 100 appearance throughout these tournaments. At number 8, we have Earl Wilson, 1968 snapshot. Another guy with less appearances, but he's showing up at the top of the leaderboard more often than some of the other guys that have a lot more appearances. 35.6% top 25 percentage. Really good stuff from him. Pretty good control. Not great movement, so he's going to give up the long ball a little bit probably. But he's got 3 good pitches, and he's the first one on this list that has that really awesome pitch down there at the bottom with that slider to complement a good fastball and a good curveball. Another guy that's missing bats and getting people out, especially at the bronze level. Number 7 is live Yanni Chirinos. 43 appearances. This guy's getting used all over the place. One of his appearances in the top 50, but he's got 5 in the top 100. Does have a pretty high dud percentage, but with a 39.5% top 25 rate, he's hanging in there, so he's doing pretty well. Decent stuff. Another guy with lower movement, but his control is outstanding. Has an awesome slider, good sinker to go with that, good splitter to go with both of those. A lot of movement on all of his pitches. But even if his movement doesn't show up very well in that rating. Also good defensively as a pitcher as well. On to number 6, we have 2008 rookie sensation Max Scherzer. This is a card that's not seen too much, and I'm not sure if it's going to go up the charts or down, but I really like it based on the ratings. 4 of his 20 appearances have been in the top 100 overall with just a 10% dud percentage. And a really high 35% top 25 rate. Really good stuff, good movement, control, but 3 really good pitches. He's got a good fastball, good slider, good changeup going on, and he's a guy that you can count on to give you a good start more often than not. Number 5 on our list is 1993 rookie sensation Steve Cook, with 32 appearances, getting used a little bit more than Scherzer is. 2 top 20 so far, 3 top 50s, and 3 top 100s. Showing up in the top 25% over 40% of the time. He does have 4 pitches, that 3 of which are pretty good. Good stuff, not great movement, good control, but he's got great stamina and good ability to hold runners. He's performing pretty well. I don't know how much his repertoire of pitches is going to hold up because none of them are great. You can see right above him, you got those 3 really awesome pitches from Scherzer, but with 4 pitches, Cook has a little bit more versatility in what he's throwing at you. At number 4, we have live Ryan Yarbrough. This is one that I debated on a lot. I didn't really feel like it should be this high, but he just keeps going out there and performing. He's my number 1 starter on my team right now, and everybody's using him. Again, it's one of those cards that's pretty easy to find. He's got a top 20 going on. He's got 5 top 50 appearances and 9 appearances in the top 100, so almost 10% of the top 100 performances come from Ryan Yarbrough right now on our list of, again, something like 1,600 pitching performances so far. Not any duds either. I love that 8.5% dud percentage. He's coming out there and he's pitching well every time he gets used in these tournaments. Good stuff. Really awesome control. Decent movement. Not as low as some of the others. Not necessarily as high as I'd like in my ace pitcher. And I'm not saying he's going to be my ace forever. If we open some packs and get somebody better that fits better than maybe one of our top 3, then he'll probably move down to number 2 or 3. But you can't go wrong putting this guy in there in these bronze tournaments. 4 good pitches, especially that slider and changeup at the bottom. I think some of these cards with really good changeups have been disproportionately better than other cards, and so that changeup is performing really well for them. I don't know how much that actually gets taken into effect by the computers, but I like to pretend anyway. At number 3, we have 2004 rookie sensation Zach Greinke. What I don't capture in my screenshot is I can't scroll down and get his 5th pitch, which I should have rather than his stuff. But he's got that changeup that everybody raves about so much. He's shown up 37 times in our tournaments with a top 20, 4 times in the top 100. Again, 10% of his performances have been in the top 100 of all these tournaments. Just an 8.1% dud percentage, 32.4% top 25 percentage. 5 pitches is going to get you pretty far as a starter, especially when you have the control of Greinke. He's got low movement, unfortunately. I don't like the 43 movement, and I've been a pretty big critic of the live Zach Greinke on the on my regular team on the regular decimals. He's rated at like 94 at a diamond, or actually I think he dropped to gold this year, but he's always had low movement, and I've always been pretty critical of that card, which makes me sad because he's one of my favorite players ever. I really like Zach Greinke, but his cards have just not been great. But he avoids giving up big numbers because of that control. He's just not walking guys and getting himself into trouble, even if he is going to let up long balls quite a bit of the time. On to our top 2. At number 2, a guy with 43 appearances, 2 in the top 20, 3 in the top 50, and 6 in the top 100 of our starting pitchers, with a 34.9% and a 14% dud percentage. That's a 20% difference, which is enormous. We have 1925 Hardware Heroes Vic Aldridge. This card is pretty awesome from the looks of it to me. Just really high stuff, really low movement, but good control. Again, he's got kind of that Greinke effect going on where his control is going to keep him from getting out of trouble, and his stuff's going to keep him missing bats and not giving up big innings. Good fastball, outstanding curveball, and then he's got a screwball, which doesn't get seen too often anymore. High stamina, good hold runners. This guy's been performing. He's been in almost every tournament I've been in that I've seen, and when he's there, he's pitching pretty well, and he's on teams that go pretty far. Moving on to number 1 with 27 appearances, 5 appearances already in the top 20, 5 in the top 50. 8 of his performances, almost 33% of them are in the top 100. 51% top 25 percentage. More than half of his starts are in the best quarter that we've been seeing, with a 14.8% dud percentage. For some reason, our number 1 rated pitcher right now is live Brent Suter. A guy with 5 pitches, good changeup down there that didn't get captured, but he's got good stuff. He's got awesome control, not a lot of movement. 2 mediocre pitches, 2 good pitches, and a really good changeup that's keeping this guy going. I keep wanting him to stop showing up on the leaderboard. I keep saying to myself, there's no way this Brent Sutter card is this good and is winning this many games for people and is pitching this well for people. But let me tell you guys, he's got 3 of the top 4 performances that I've seen so far, based on the tournament value calculation that I came up with. Maybe I'll go into that calculation someday. It's not going to be tonight because I'm still making adjustments to it, not to try to get Brent Sutter out of the top spot, I promise you. But this card just keeps performing. It keeps putting up crazy numbers. Like I'm seeing 1.7 earned run average, like 2.2 FIP. Just ridiculous ERA pluses out of this card. I'm not sure what it is. I don't think it's a ton better than some of the other cards on the list, but it is performing just lights out. I also don't have this card yet. Sometimes being a packs only guy, being a free-to-play packs only guy has its drawbacks. I love it because when I get that 100 rated card, it really is awesome and feels really cool. And then especially if it's one of those historical cards I can sell to open 100 more packs. But then for some reason I don't have a 66 rated Brent Suter card when I want to put him into my rotation. So that's our top 10 relief and starting pitchers so far. This is what I'm looking at on my current pitching staff. I've got Yarborough, Doug Bird starting. Kenshin Kawakami has been awesome for me in this current tournament that I'm in. Dobnak and Sean Chacon, not so much. I've got Jake Diekman closing, which I'm really happy with. Petit and Gelnar. I've got Robert Gesselman, who functions as a middle relief and kind of a long relief emergency starter for me. Don Ace, Ryan Stanek, and Alex Claudio, 2 of which you saw on the list today. And then at long relief, I've got Pete Bukovic, a guy who doesn't show up on our top 10 starting pitching list, but has put up some pretty good numbers too. Kind of limited is why he's not on the list, but I'm using him in my long relief right now. I'm really looking for that Aldridge and that Suter card to close out my rotation, and I'd love to get that Greinke and Steve Cook at some point. So I'd like to replace 4/5 of my rotation right now, but we'll see how they perform. My bullpen, I'm almost happy with. I want to add a Victor Arano card and that Eddie Guardado, and then there's a Craig Stammen card that I want to add as well. A couple of those aren't really showing up on the lists, but I like them. So that's our performances for up to now. Again, if you saw the top 10 position players last night, you can go back and watch the video and make fun of me. My ratings are really bad. So I apologize if you went out and bought any of those cards today and fucked up any of your tournaments. But I'm updating it. We're going to do another one tomorrow. I wasn't planning on doing it for another week, but because I like you guys, I'm going to go ahead and update that for you tomorrow. With that said, let's get back into the game. Let's see how the Decimals are doing, and maybe they can get on to the finals and we can watch some games tonight. Otherwise, we're going to open a couple packs. I don't have very many. We're still there's a game simulating right now. So we're just at 1-1. We'll come back to them in a minute. Let's go open what do we got? We'll have 11 packs to open today. For those of you who weren't here last night, we opened 32 packs, and it was disappointing to say the least. I got a couple duplicate golds out of it, but nothing that was even worth getting excited about at all. So maybe the out of the park gods will make it up to us today. We'll talk real quick about the Decimals team before we go opening those packs. So our pitching staff right now, we'll head to the team home screen, currently 60-36. They were crushing this division and then somehow went on a huge losing streak, lost 9 games in a row, which is nuts at Rookie League with a rotation of DeGrom, Guzman, Strasburg, Carraway, and Soroka. We'll talk about them first. So DeGrom and Guzman have been really good. Both of them sub-3 earned run average, 12 wins apiece. Strasburg's at 11-6 with a 363 earned run average. Carraway and Soroka have been hit or miss a little bit. Soroka's improved lately. Carraway, we added last night. We dumped Charlie Morton last night when we opened the Pat Carraway card. The bullpen is pretty good, so we're showing first in starters ERA, second in bullpen ERA, first overall on runs against, first in FIP, first in pitching. Kind of expected this performance out of them this week. They got stuck in Rookie League because they were not very good last week, and then we opened the packs that we got from selling the Huey Jennings card over the weekend. So 270 packs went a long way towards turning this into a team that can at least compete a little bit. The bullpen, we got Taylor Rogers closing, and he's been pretty awesome for us. Yesterday he was on a 17-save streak. Did blow his second save today, so terrible disappointment there. Taylor Rogers, we should probably just send you to the moon. Kenley Jansen got moved into the setup role this afternoon, and Brad Hand's been doing pretty well. We had Matt Barnes in a setup role, but him and Raisel Iglesias have not been very reliable gold relievers for us. Pat Malone's been a little bit better. Kirby Higbee's been okay. Looking to upgrade the bullpen just a little bit. As far as the offense, we're second in the league in runs scored, fourth in batting average, second in on-base percentage and OPS, weighted on-base average, fourth in home runs. No speed whatsoever on this team right now. We do have Dick Grote leading off. I'd really like to get something at the top of the lineup, somebody to lead off for us who can run. But there's just nobody on this team right now that has any speed whatsoever. But we got Grote leading off at shortstop with O'Neill batting behind him. Mike Schmidt, our 100 rated all-time legend Mike Schmidt, batting just 257 with 19 home runs and 66 RBIs. Leading the team in WAR, but a lot of that's defensive. I was hoping this card would perform a little bit better offensively, and I do have a Matt Chapman card, so I'm considering selling Mike Schmidt in order to go ahead and open another couple hundred packs to try to fill this team out just a little bit more, and that's probably what I'm going to do tonight after this stream, is try to get him on the auction house. Jim Bottomley has been an awesome card. Not great defensively. He is playing first base for us right now because JD Martinez is our designated hitter and is possibly the only person in the world that's ever been worse than Jim Bottomley defensively, but Jim Bottomley's bat is worth having there at first base. Gabby Hartnett catching for us, probably shouldn't be batting fifth, likely getting moved down and move JD Martinez and George Springer up and get a little bit more consistency in the middle of the lineup. Already talked about JD Martinez, George Springer, Mark Canha, and Jerry Coleman rounded out. Jerry Coleman is a bronze card, so in case you're wondering, no, when I opened 270 packs, I did not get a whole crap ton of good cards. We're still running a bronze Jerry Coleman out there at second base because I just don't have any card that can replace him. The high-rated second basemen that we have right now are, well, none. I really didn't even get a gold second baseman, so I could probably throw Starlin Castro in there or D. Gordon or somebody with a little bit more speed, but Shed Long, maybe an upgrade over him, but I like Jerry Coleman. I think he's a good dude, so I'm going to leave him in the lineup for now unless we get something that is way, way better than him. So that's the decimals in a nutshell. Let's go ahead and open these 11 packs, and then we'll check back in on our tournament team and see if we do some play-by-play tonight. My internet's been acting a little weird, so I don't know if the simulation download is going to work very well. We'll open it up with a bunch of iron cards, as per usual. Not the greatest of packs to start, so already disappointing. I'd like to get a diamond card tonight. That would be cool. There is a Kevin Crone, so I'm happy about that. That's one of those bronze cards that I really, really wanted. We'll plug him into our next tournament team. He was my top-rated first baseman yesterday, and yes, I know that I said all those ratings were not good, but he's still really a top 2, top 3 guy there at first base in the bronze tournaments based off of what I've seen. So we'll see where he ends up in the ratings tomorrow. It might change tonight. Yeah, man, thanks for stopping by. Down to about 8 packs left. There's Sergio Romo. He's showing up occasionally on the top list for bullpen arms. I haven't plugged him in yet. He's got a pretty high bust percentage, as well as he's decent at the top end, but gives you some top end ability, but busts quite a bit too. Couple silvers here, so getting a little bit better. Here's our first gold of the day. Well, there's that second baseman, so we'll see what Keston Kara gives us. So maybe we can get an upgrade at second base finally. Is anybody in here interested in a 100 rated Mike Schmidt card? I'm going to put him on the auction house here probably within the next hour. I'm going to start him at the 7-day average is 225 right now, so I'm probably just going to start him right at that. Matt Chapman gives me good defense, and so I can live with that, especially with Schmidt just not performing offensively. All right, last 4 packs before we plug and play. The nice thing about running the bronze tournaments is that even when the bronze cards are coming up, you can kind of get a little bit excited about it. Because there are guys that I'm looking out for now. Whereas before it was like, bronze cards, whatever. Might even do irons next. Last 2 packs. No diamonds the last 2 nights. Let's see if we can get one. Just one diamond, one 100 rated card. Would be really nice. Here comes another gold. Trey Turner, shortstop. Could be an interesting card to look at. last pack of the night, a little bit of a dud. We did get a 1928 snapshot Clarence Mitchell, which is a pretty cool looking card. I'm going to look Clarence Mitchell up real quick and see what kind of stats he gives us. See this 1928 snapshot. In 1928, he played for Philadelphia and St. Louis, went 8-9 with a 353 earned run average. Pitched in 22 games that year, 18 starts, 2 games finished, 9 complete games, which is pretty awesome. You won't see that from anybody these days. Walked a lot of guys, a .78 strikeout to walk ratio. Well, just walked 40 guys, but didn't strike anybody out either. So, interesting card. Probably not useful right now, but if I start running iron tournaments, that's a card that could be interesting over there. So let's check these 2 new gold cards out. We did get a second baseman, not good defensively, so I'll be honest, not sure that I want to put him in. You guys who watch me a lot know that I much prefer defense to anything else. What does Jerry Coleman give us defensively? Really not that much better. So we'll go ahead and let Jerry Coleman take some time off and put Kenston Hira in there at second base. Now the other one we got was Trey Turner. 70 contact, 60 power, really good speed and stealing. So he's the kind of guy that I'm looking for to see if we can get him in this lineup somewhere. Dick Grote is an 83. Great defense at second base. Maybe we can dump. Let's see, if I'm willing to go 4 outfielders, we can dump one of these outfielders and get Trey Turner in there as a runner. And I think we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to let Connor Jackson, well, I think Connor Jackson's my starting left fielder. He's not. He's our backup outfielder. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't like running just 4 outfielders, but we'll make it work because I need to get some speed in here. I don't think he's necessarily better than Seager. Well, probably better than Seager running-wise, but Trey Turner is just going to be a pinch runner for us, I think, anyway, and maybe an occasional pinch hitter. So definitely putting Hira in at second base, and he's a pretty good bat. We're going to move him up to 6th, bat him behind JD Martinez, and then see. Now I don't really have a backup outfielder because that was going to be JD Martinez. So not great. They won't let me plug him in at center field, so may have just effed this team just a little bit. In fact, let's go ahead and let Corey Seager sit for a little bit. Hasn't been performing very well for us anyway, and we need an outfielder to throw in there, and it will be... Who will it be? Vaughn Joshua? What do we think? Can he run? Sort of can run. Mickey Rivers, got some contact there, can run, play good defense. Mickey Rivers is going to take over as our backup outfielder now, which means Trey Turner can take over as our backup shortstop. So this Longoria is really good defensively. So the live Longoria, not good defensively. The 2008 Hardware Hero or 2009 Hardware Heroes Longoria, fantastic defensively. Not great ratings at first base and second base yet. Hopefully he'll train up a little bit, but we don't really need it. He's just a backup, but really good defensive backup for us. Mickey Rivers is going to take over. Go ahead and just copy that and paste it because nobody wants to spend too much time watching this stuff. We want to get back to the tournament and see if we can get into the finals. Number 1. Pinch hitter will be Longoria. Turner is going to be number 2, with Rivers being number 3. I don't like to use my catchers because they get tired really quickly. Trey Turner will be our number 1 pinch runner, and we'll just do the same thing over here. And so minor tweaks to the team tonight, but I think that it improves them, makes them a little bit more consistent across the board. Got another gold guy in there instead of a bronze, so we improved at second base quite a bit and got some speed on the base paths. Let's go ahead and make sure that Trey Turner is stealing bases when he's on base. Trey Turner, you will steal bases, and you will be aggressive on the base paths. We'll submit that team. And there we go. So the Decimals won yesterday 2-1. We didn't even look at that when the game ended. So Strasburg, sensational for the Decimals. 8 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 8 strikeouts, not a single walk. To tie for the team lead with 12 wins, and Rogers gets his 23rd save. Just 2-1 again. That offense not as awesome as I would like it to be this season. Jim Bottomley is really the only one who's living up to any semblance of what I'd like to see. Heading back into our tournament. We got a game finishing in a minute and a half. If it'll simulate and give me the ability to watch it, we'll do some play-by-play. Oh, nope. We won the semifinals. We were gone for too long and took the semifinals 4-1. And let's see how the other side is going. So we're going to win some packs here, which is good. We need... Oh, this guy. I'm just going to hang out for a little bit because this guy is my nemesis. Whoever this guy is, I don't know if you're in here, but this guy, the first 3 days I was running these tournaments, I was getting knocked out by this guy in the first or second round every single time. And driving me nuts, seriously. Like, I was trying to put a decent team together, but this whoever, Romans 10 is his team's name, was just beating me every time. And they were tough tournament. They were tough rounds too. It wasn't like he wasn't beating me 4-0. It was all like 4-2, 4-3. Let's check his lineup. He's got John Shelby leading off with Mike Yastrzemski. Mike Yastrzemski's getting played a lot in these bronze tournaments, and he's been really good. Mike Marshall's been really good as well. His lineup's not too much different than mine, to be honest. I like this Duffy Lewis. Duffy Lewis is really high rated on my left fielders when I did my rankings, and I think he's even going to be a little bit higher now. Let's see. His rotation leaves me a little something to be desired. Yoshihisa Hirano's been pretty good. He was borderline top 10 for me when I was putting the rankings together. He was top 10 yesterday until had some duds today, so he dropped out of the list. He's got Johnny Cueto, who was another kind of borderline guy. In his bullpen, I'm not super impressed with his bullpen. I don't think anybody on there, well, maybe I'm the one who's bad at picking guys. I'm hoping he wins this game so that in 10 minutes or so, we can come back and start watching this series between me and him. I do have another team I can go on to. We can open some more packs and take a look at the Bergeron's Bruins, who were my main team last year, mostly because they were the first team that got a high money card. So let's see if the Romans 10 can win their game and we can have a showdown in the finals of this bronze tournament. His team leaders, let's see, he's got J.P. Crawford batting .400, but he's only got 5 at bats. So Mike Yastrzemski really is his team leader with Mike A. Marshall behind him. Duffy Lewis with 5 home runs. Marshall. So this Marshall card shows as a first baseman. He plays some outfield too. It's a pretty cool card. Plays some right field. Not great defensively, but if you have a really good first baseman that you're plugging in. Let's see. Did he win? He did not. So they go on to Game 7. We can go ahead and we'll go ahead and hide scores and move over to my other team for now. We'll go check out the Bruins and then come back over here to watch some play-by-play of those. For those of you who are showing up late and didn't get to see the list, I apologize. If you want me to go back over it, feel free to post in chat and I'll talk a little bit more about my list and where I got it from. But for now, I should have a few packs to open over here as well. Maybe we'll get something better than what we got here. We'll have 5 packs to open with the Bruins. So they did well in the rookie league when the first week was going on, and then so they got placed in Iron and are kind of fiddling about in Iron, waiting for that card to come along that gives us more to do with them. Let's buy this last card pack and then we'll look at the team for opening packs. Right now, the Bruins are putting out a rotation of Walker Buehler. Here's that Brent Suter card that I talked about, number 1 on our bronze tournament list. Performing pretty well over here, too. A really good card for some reason. Dennis Blair, Jason Grimsley, and Laren Legrau. I want this Brent Suter card on the decimals. Osuna's pretty much our gold guy, not very good. 401 earn run average for the closer, which is not terribly useful. We've got Denny's Baez, Adam Kolarek at setup, Stanton Kelly, Hansel Robles, and Michael Givens and Scott Alexander. Michael Givens is a card that almost made it in the top 10 list as well. I've seen he's only shown up about 8 times in the tournaments I've been in, but he's performed well in all of them. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the list the next time we do it. But seeing Brent Suter pitch well, even here, makes me feel a little bit validated at least. Moving on to the packs for this team. Oh, we didn't go over the offense. Oh well. Let's see what we get for packs. Logan Allen has fallen far. I think he started as a gold last season, if I'm not mistaken. Unsung hero Tim Naring, second baseman, number 67 overall rating. Decent second base card for the bronze tournaments. Paul Ostenmacher's been a pretty good relief card. Not quite on the top 10 list, but he's been pretty solid. Not a lot of duds out of him. He's looking at like a 10% dud rate on the stats I've been looking at. And with 2 packs left to go, here comes our bronze is Cole Stewart. Not a lot of pack luck the last few days. All right, and that's it for packs on these guys. Let's go see if, because they definitely could have gotten some improvement. Let's see, Michael Baez instead of any of these other relief pitchers. Let's see, 92, 56, 43. I think I like him better than, well, maybe better than Kolarek. Kind of want to dump Osuna because he's been really bad. But I don't know. I think we're just going to stick with what we have. We got a Cervelli catcher, not going to be super helpful. Right field, is Heinrich going to be better than Tyler O'Neill or Greg Gross? Not really. Starting pitcher, Willie Blair. See, 44, 59, 77. I like that Grimsley card better. And definitely like Brent Suter better. So we're going to leave them be. We got the live Longoria again. We talked a little bit about the defense of that 2008 Longoria over this Longoria. It's just not the defense up to the Evan Longoria standards anymore. Otherwise, nothing super exciting for this team. Head over and check out the unicorns just really quick before we head back to the decimals. Oh, we got some perfect points on these guys. I did not expect to have 2,500 points because they did not have that earlier today. They must have done something. See why they got points. A couple All-Stars, immaculate inning. Who gave us an immaculate inning? Was Joe Kuno gave us an immaculate inning, which, by the way, is only worth 1,000 points this year. It was worth 3,000 last season, if I remember correctly. That's a little sad. My first 100 rated card was a Dennis Eckersley, perfect Dennis Eckersley that came out of 3 packs I opened from a immaculate inning that was thrown by, well, I don't remember that much. I don't remember who it was thrown by, but it was an immaculate inning that got me my first 100 rated card. And then, of course, I sold him and opened a whole bunch of packs, and the rest is history. Start out with Dave Hollins at third base. Not a guy that's shown up on my radar so far for the bronze tournaments. Nor is Bradley Zimmer shows up a little bit throughout the top of the center field rankings, but shows up a lot in the bottom too. So he didn't make the top 5 list. I don't know if that's going to change when I redo the list. And then we got one more pack. And nothing good. So let's go watch Game 7 of the Bronze 636 tournament. And then come on, baby. Try that again. Might have to restart out of the park here in a minute. Here it is. Disappeared again. Losing sync with the server. This is a bad time for that to happen. Let's restart the game and see if we can fix it. Apologies. But it happens. Technical difficulties. I have read rumors of a little bit of a memory leak in the game if you have it running for too long. So I don't know if that's what's happening here or not. Yeah, I got all this stuff showing up. See if we can get into the tournament. Those are all tournaments that I got knocked out of in the first or second round. So, and no sync. Come on, you can do it. Come on, out of the park. Well, looks like we might not. Oh, might have pushed through. It did push through. Tournament schedule. Oh, there it is. Home team. See if we can watch this. I don't know if there's a way for us to watch another game, another team's games. Scores, maybe through here. No? Alright, well, let's unhide the scores and see who we're playing against then, because that'll answer the question of who won that game. Have they not played yet? How are they still 3-3? Well, I think we're dealing with some bugs right now, unfortunately. Or my computer's acting up. Because I was hoping to watch their game 7. Oh, you know what? Because was it Sunday? Do they have days off on Sundays in the tournaments? They might. Oh, well, let's go watch the Decimals last game then. Unhappy out of the park is unhappy. Well, as much as I don't like to close it out on this note, and I'd much rather watch the end of this tournament with you guys, if I can't get it to work, there's not a lot I can do about it. And I'll be honest, I don't know if it's the game or if it's my crappy internet either, so it could be either of those. Fonts was invalid. I don't know what that means. Close you out completely. Maybe it's just that everybody in my house is streaming shows right now, so I'm the one who's furthest away, even though I'm wired. All right. And we sync. We cannot sync. All right. Well, I guess that's the end of the stream for tonight. So I appreciate you guys stopping by again. The top 10 pitchers for starting pitchers were Doug Bird at 10, Neil Heaton at 9. Number 8 was Earl Wilson. Number 7 was Yanni Chirinos. Number 6 was Max Scherzer, 2008 rookie sensation. Number 5 was Steve Cook. Number 4 was Ryan Yarbrough, 2020 MLB Live, a card I hated putting up that high. Number 3 was Zach Greinke, 2004 rookie sensation. And number 2 was Vic Aldridge, 1925 Hardware Heroes. Number 1 was Brent Suter, current live MLB card. For the relief pitchers, we had Craig Stammen at number 10, Alex Claudio at number 9, Kevin Ginkel at number 8, 2001 snapshot Eddie Guardado at number 7, Ryan Stanek at number 6, Victor Arano at number 5, Chad Sabatka at number 4, Jake Diekman at number 3, 1969 one-hit wonder John Gilnar at number 2, and finally at the number 1 rated relief pitcher today for bronze tournaments was Yasmiro Petit, 2020 MLB Live card. So I appreciate you guys coming out to watch. I'm sorry that we couldn't get this play-by-play to work because I think it would have been a lot of fun to watch the team play in the finals of this tournament, but it's just not going to cooperate. So again, tomorrow I'll have a new list of the bronze hitters, the bronze position players. We'll go through them all from catcher to right field. Hopefully with a better ranking than we had yesterday. We got a little bit more data to go with, and hopefully we can get you guys some better information. This card sync issue is making me very unhappy, so I'm just going to go ahead and call it a night. But thanks for coming out, and hit me up on Discord or give me a follow. Thanks for the follow, by the way, Asob83. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.